This is Bob Byrnes, Mayor of the City of Marshall. We're here this morning to give a quick update on the current situation with the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic issues that the country and the world and our city is currently experiencing. What we intend to do this morning is give a quick update from the city, a quick update from the medical situation, which Dr. Steve Meister will give, a quick update on the school, which Scott Monson, Superintendent of Marshall Public Schools, will give. Any one of us could talk a lot longer on any one of these issues, at any one of these areas. Our intention this morning is to keep this very brief. You can always follow up with more information from any of us. From the City of Marshall, first off, let me say today is the morning of March 16th, this afternoon. Tomorrow, things may be different, but as of this morning, the City of Marshall has made a number of continual changes as we implement our incident management, which we started middle of last week. And the whole intention with that is to be sure that we have continuity of services should we have any employees that are essential employees be absent, that we always have backup. And so we're in good shape on that. We have made the decision to close the Adult Community Center, our senior center, because we have a vulnerable population there that attend there. We are continuing, though, the preparation of home-delivered meals. And finally, let me also say that we've been in contact with our retailers, with our in the community, and they have no issues with supply chain, so there's no issues with or no need to do any hoarding or that type of thing. On the other hand, I would also encourage all of us to continue to support our retailers in the community. Now, let me turn to Dr. Steve Meister, who's also on our Marshall City Council, but in his capacity here this morning and his expertise is as Chief Medical Officer for Avera Marshall Health. Following that, Scott Monson.
Thank you, Mayor Byrnes. So from an standpoint of health, and currently, as of March 16th at 9:30 in the morning, there are no active cases in Lyon County. Again, there are no active cases of COVID-19 in Lyon County as of this morning. I want to explain a little bit about what a pandemic is. People might be confused as to the words endemic, epidemic, pandemic. I'm just going to give a quick history lesson. Endemic means that the disease is always in a constant state of equilibrium. The best example would be malaria, is always endemic in warmer areas of the world. An epidemic is when a disease rises above. We are currently actually in an epidemic of influenza, which kind of makes it confusing for the COVID because some of the symptoms overlap. A pandemic is when something brand new comes around and goes out throughout the world. So we've had several examples of pandemics. Some people might not even recall them. The most recent pandemic was actually HIV/AIDS. That was a brand new disease. It was discovered in 1976, and now it's a worldwide disease. We've come a long way and can actually keep people alive for a long time. You go back a little bit, 1918, there was a pandemic of the Spanish influenza. That killed between 25 and 50 million people. That was a new strain of the typical influenza virus that just went crazy, and the human being population had never seen it before. And so the carnage that raised was quite a bit, but we made it through. And then go back to the most common pandemic years and years and years, centuries ago, was the Black Death or the bubonic plague, and that came from rats and fleas, and we don't need to worry about those things anymore, thank goodness. So again, as Mayor Byrnes said, for today, March 16th, 2020, in Marshall, Lyon County, there are no active cases of COVID-19. This disease will not cause you to have diarrhea typically, so we don't need to be hoarding everything, and just stay calm, take your own pulse, wash your hands, maintain social distancing, and we will get through this. It's going to be okay.
Scott?
It was a busy weekend for staff in the Marshall Public School District, and we'll continue to be busy this week. We received notice from Governor Walz and the Department of Education and Department of Health that they were imposing a school closure statewide beginning this Wednesday, March 18th, going through Friday, March 27th. We are having school in Marshall today and tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday, March 16th and March 17th, largely for two reasons. One, to give families an opportunity to make daycare or childcare arrangements, and two, to have an opportunity to visit with our students and let them know if we need to have school closures, excuse me, past March 27th, here's sort of the plan that we'll be proceeding with. Part of the direction from the Department of Education and Governor Walz was that all schools would use the period from March 18th to March 27th to bring all of our staff members together to basically plan for in the event that schools need to be closed past March 27th. And I don't know if that will happen. I certainly hope that it doesn't. But should the state of Minnesota, Governor Walz, Department of Education direct us in the next 2 weeks to continue with our school closures, we will then shift into a distance learning plan where, and we're trying to figure out what that looks like right now. And that's the purpose of bringing all of our staff in on March 18th and having them work independently together by grade levels, by school, doing whatever they can to help prepare for an extended school closure if it goes beyond March 27th. A couple things that we're working on right now, beginning on March 18th, we will have meals available for any student in our school district, age 18 or under. We're believe right now that the plan will be from 11 o'clock in the morning until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Students may come into the Marshall Middle School and pick up a breakfast and lunch for the next day. They cannot eat it on site. They'll have to take it with them. But 11 to 2, any weekday we'll have that available. And then we're also working on sort of some remote pickup locations. And as soon as we finalize that plan, hopefully later today, we'll be able to get details out to our families. The second thing we're working on is being able to provide childcare arrangements for children under 12 of emergency personnel. So folks like medical providers, first responders, ambulance personnel, law enforcement, city and county emergency personnel and staff. And we understand the importance of that, and we're working on arrangements to have childcare available from 7:30 until at least 4 o'clock every weekday, likely at Parkside. And again, once we get the details of that plan pulled together, hopefully later today or early tomorrow morning, we will get that out to our families and staff as soon as possible. So school today and tomorrow to really visit with students, talk to them about here's what we'll be doing if there's an extended school closure, and then no school for students. They will not be e-learning days. No school for students March 18th through the 27th. And like I mentioned, we're working on arrangements to have food available, meals available for our students, and also childcare available for emergency personnel with details forthcoming.
So we are all following the guidelines, the directives from the CDC, Centers for Disease Control, as well as the state of Minnesota. One of those guidelines is limiting gatherings of over 50 people, and City of Marshall will be implementing that, so we can expect to see some changes. So we would encourage people, if they have questions, contact the numbers that are on your screen: medical questions for Avera, school questions for Marshall Public Schools, or city questions for City of Marshall. We also expect to provide an update periodically as necessary. Thank you.